coming up on the Monday edition of Carolina Week.
UNC students are finding a new way to make themselves heard.
And then, after 30 years, will the victims of horrible injustices find peace?
And in sports, last year Utah ran up 669 yards against the Heels, but this year it was a different story.
Plus a look at your Carolina Week 4-day forecast.
All that and more, Carolina Week starts right now.
From the School of Journalism and Mass Communication at the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill, this is Carolina Week.
Hello and welcome to the October 3rd edition of Carolina Week. I'm Shaheen Sayal.
And I'm Philip Jones. October just started, but political eyes are already turning to November. Local elections are coming up soon and campaigns are in full swing. Tara Higgerson joins us live in the studio to tell us more about what this means for students. Tara?
Phil, students recently voiced their concerns one-on-one with the candidates running for office in Chapel Hill and Carrboro. Shopping on Franklin Street and parking. These are the issues students say they care most about in the upcoming town elections.
It'd be great to see some business come back to Franklin Street and really see that be a viable area again.
UNC junior James Allred says he wants to be an educated voter. That's why he and other students talked face-to-face with this year's candidates at the university's first Speak Out Forum. UNC senior Nipa Mentha says her #1 concern is safety. At the forum, she directly addressed her concern with the candidates.
I always worried about university lighting on campus, and that was really important, but now that kind of stuff is still really important, but it's important off campus, it's important in the town because so many students live, I guess, in Chapel Hill and Carrboro.
Lauren Eastham is running for a seat on the Chapel Hill Town Council. She says students play a vital role in improving town-gown relations by voicing their opinions.
Students that are here for a limited time can learn about town government, can make the place that they stayed for 4 years a better place and leave it a better place.
Students can register to vote in the pit until October 14th. Student groups will also be in the pit to answer questions about elections until November 8th, Election Day. The DTH and other campus groups are hoping their efforts to educate voters will help increase student turnout on Election Day. Phil?
Tara Higgerson live in the studio.
The UNC system now has a new president with a familiar face. Monday, in a special session, the Board of Governors unanimously chose Erskine Bowles as the next head of the 16-campus system. Bowles is a native North Carolinian and a Charlotte businessman. He's run twice for U.S. Senate and has served as Chief of Staff to President Clinton. On January 1st, Bowles will take over for current President Molly Broad. In his acceptance speech, Bowles expressed his gratitude and addressed some of the tasks he must accomplish.
We live in a time today where we face fierce global competition. The public trust that we have been given requires that each of us in this room meet this challenge and meet it head on.
The UNC Search Committee unanimously recommended Bowles to the board after conducting a nationwide search of over 80 candidates.
Getting college students to the polls isn't an easy task. Studies show that many students don't vote because they feel politicians are out of touch with their needs. Reporter T.H. Cox knows one person who's seeking to change that.
He may look like any other UNC student, but Jason Baker has much more on his plate than the average Tar Heel. He's got a campaign to run. The junior political science major is a candidate for Chapel Hill Town Council. Baker says the 3 main issues he would like to tackle are affordable housing, environmental initiatives, and public transit. And he says he wants to give the university community a voice.
I think that these are heavily student issues, and I'd love to see the student population have some sort of real representation on the council.
Election Day is about a month away, and Baker says he will be attending endorsement forums, talking to students in the pit, and anything else he can do to make sure his voice is heard, from canvassing to his website.
My website's all about interactivity. The front page of it's a blog, which people can respond to anything I post on a given day. I try to update it on a daily basis, let folks know where I am, what I'm doing, how they can get involved in the campaign.
Sure, he takes a lot of time to campaign, but how does he manage when it comes to the books? Baker says he spends more than 16 hours a day working on his campaign and schoolwork.
I have my classes structured in a way that it makes it possible for me to go, get some work done for my campaign in the morning, go to class, work on homework, and then still have time to do an evening event like a forum or going out and campaigning in the neighborhoods.
Baker has been involved in politics since he was in high school. He says running for town council member has been by far the most incredible experience. No doubt, Baker's got a busy month ahead, but he says he'll continue delivering his best in his campaign and his classes. In Chapel Hill, I'm T.H. Cox, Carolina Week.
If you want to hear Baker for yourself, you'll find him at the Daily Tar Heel Endorsement Forum on Thursday.
You'd think tuition hikes would be a hot topic among students, especially since tuition has gone up at UNC for each of the last 6 years. But only a handful of students showed up for a forum about the issue. Student body president Seth Dearman held a meeting Thursday to get student feedback about the options facing the tuition task force. He says the task force must concentrate on graduate student needs, teacher assistant salary increases, and faculty retention. Fewer than 20 people attended the meeting, and only 2 of them were out-of-state students concerned about the potential tuition hike.
An old campus hangout is becoming the new campus hangout. Last year, the Underground and the Student Union closed down for renovation, and there's still some work to be done. Although the pool hall offers new tables and a place to hang out, the bowling alley needs maintenance. More than half of the lanes are closed down. Students don't seem to mind the inconvenience, though. They say the Underground is still a cheap way to have fun.
Well, more than a quarter century after witnessing some of the world's worst human rights violations,
Chileans are looking to move forward as they uncover secrets of their country's dark past.
Art can be many, many, many things. The North Carolina Museum of Art offers one of the premier art collections in the Southeast, and it's yours to discover. There's something for everyone. Works by classic and contemporary artists, a 164-acre museum park, an outdoor concert series, performances, and so much more. Experience all that art can be at the North Carolina Museum of Art.
AIDS has killed more children worldwide than there are in all the grade schools in New York, Chicago, Los Angeles, Washington, Atlanta, and Miami combined. The time to do something is now.
Christy Keck joins us now in the studio as we continue our series of Carolina Week special reports.
This summer, Christy spent 2 weeks in Chile alongside reporter Sean Maroney. Now, Christy, where exactly were you?
Well, we were in Santiago, and that's Chile's capital, and Sean and I were investigating crimes against humanity, and we found a country that's still healing from a very violent past. The statistics are grim. More than 3,000 political opponents died or disappeared during General Augusto Pinochet's regime. And now, more than 30 years later, survivors are still calling for justice.
These protesters echo the opinion of 2/3 of Chile's population. They say General Augusto Pinochet is responsible for almost 20 years' worth of crimes against humanity. It all started September 11th, 1973. A bloody military coup left the democratically elected President Salvador Allende dead and General Pinochet dictator. In the 17-year period that followed, thousands of Allende supporters are detained and tortured. Attorney Hiram Viagra represents about 40 survivors from Chile's most notorious torture center, the Villa Grimaldi. He and his clients want Pinochet to stand trial for his human rights violations.
It's a basic principle in international rights and moral. Those that commit these atrocities can't receive impunity. They cannot go unpunished.
Pinochet faces dozens of lawsuits for widespread human rights abuses, but so far, he has gone unpunished. After leaving the presidency in 1990, he became a senator for life. This made him immune from prosecution. But just last month, Chile's Supreme Court stripped him of immunity in his involvement with the deaths of 15 political opponents. He's lost his immunity twice before, but but each time he's escaped charges for health reasons. Viagra does not want to see this happen again.
First, get rid of his title senator so we can get on with the process. But that doesn't mean he'll be punished, because they say he's mentally incapable to participate.
But once again, Pinochet's defense will claim he's too ill to stand trial. The idea outrages Lelia Perez, a survivor of the Via Grimaldi.
We want truth and justice, not impunity anymore.
There is another side of the story. Some Chileans support the former dictator, saying he saved the country from communism.
I believe that in the moment he acted, he had to. It was necessary. He committed many abuses, too many. But in this moment, we were practically at war. He had to do what he had to do.
Perez and Viagra will not accept that argument.
Torture is never justified, not in any moment.
So in this moment, Viagra, Perez, and thousands of others wait. They wait for justice, and they wait for peace.
The only way to get world peace is through justice. And this comes from every man fighting for justice throughout the world.
As Pinochet approaches 90, the fight for justice becomes a fight against time.
Pinochet stepped down 15 years ago. Today, Chile is still trying to recover, and prosecutors are still finding incriminating evidence against the former dictator.
And Christy, there's been a lot of debate about the U.S.'s role in the military coup.
That's right. Declassified CIA documents show that members of the Nixon administration supported the overthrow of Allende. And there's a recent book, the Pinochet File, and in this book, it examines thousands of those documents, and the debate rages on.
And you'll have more for us on Wednesday, is that right, Christy?
Yeah, Shaheen, on Wednesday, we'll introduce you to one survivor, Lelia Perez, and I'll tell you about why she still returns to the Via Grimaldi.
Thanks, Christy.
Thanks, Christy. Well, Carolina is trying to do its part to help the rest of the world, starting with UNC's own Live 8 concert Friday night. Rootsy rock star Edwin McCain headlined the event, which also included performances by such campus groups as Kamikaze and the Clefhangers. The Campus Y organized the concert to raise Carolina students' awareness about global AIDS and extreme poverty. Student body president Seth Dearman says it's important for Carolina students not to take something as basic as life for granted.
We just need to stop and think and sit back and think about how the other half lives, so to speak, and things that other people in the world are experiencing that we'll never know.
The Live 8 concerts are part of the One campaign. You can find out more about it by visiting our website at carolinaweek.org.
The federal government's fight against childhood obesity just became interactive. MyPyramid.gov has added games for children and tips for family to encourage healthy living. It gives basic suggestions, such as being physically active and eating a variety of veggies. It also has a food pyramid that details the amount of each food group a child should consume each day.
Well, attention ladies, when was the last time you gave yourself a breast examination? That's one question the Susan G. Komen Breast Cancer Foundation posed when representatives made a stop at UNC's campus on Friday. The visit is part of a 14-week tour aimed at informing the public about breast cancer and healthy life habits. Mary Manlove thinks awareness is important for people of all ages.
As a breast cancer survivor, I was diagnosed at 30 and nobody thought I should have it because I didn't have a family history. And so it can happen to anyone, and in fact, cancers of all types are happening to people of all ages.
The group's trailer carries all the necessities for teaching the public about breast cancer. The trailer also provides computers, breast self-health examination guides, and other breast cancer educational materials.
Well, weathercaster Rob Ellis joins us now.
That's right, Rob. It looks like we've been experiencing some cooler temperatures.
That's right. Last week we saw the cool down, and as we make our way into fall, the cool down is going to continue this week, and I'll have details coming up in your Carolina Week 4-day forecast.
Come on, boy. Come on.
What do you got there, Yogi? Huh? What have you found? What do you got, little fella? Drop it. Looks like someone's butt. Man, they probably lost it playing with their kids. Hey, leave it. Come on. Come on.
Properly inflating my tires burns less fuel and saves me money on gas. Yeah, I'm saving Mother Nature from pollution, but more importantly, she saved me $11. Ow!
Environmental defense. Get green.
By keeping my car regularly tuned, I save money on gas and repairs. That also means cleaner air. You know, feels good to help save the cash, planet.
Environmental defense. Get green. For more tips, go to getgreen.com.
Time now to take a look at your Carolina Week weather. I'm weather forecaster Rob Ellis. Well, we start out with our weather headlines on this beautiful fall scene that we have here, and that's because we are going to experience a fall cool down. As we make our way through the beginning of October, the temperatures are going to begin to decrease, and as they do that, our clouds are actually going to be on the increase as we move through the forecast period. So by the end of the week, we're going to see those clouds move in, and it does look like we have a chance for some showers by midweek and into the start of the weekend, though the weekend does look clear. Let's go ahead and take a look at the big picture. Your satellite map. You can see over much of North Carolina we're actually clear at the moment, just a little bit of low-level cloudiness coming in with some moisture off of the Atlantic Ocean. And out west you can see a disturbance beginning to pop up, and this has a cold front associated with it, and that's going to make our way into the area. Looking at the satellite map, at the surface map, I'll actually show you that we have high pressure over the area just off the screen there, and there is a little bit of a disturbance off the coast, a trough that may bring us some cloudiness. As this high pressure brings us winds off of the Atlantic Ocean, that's going to increase our chance for moisture, and that's why we're seeing the clouds build in. Though the high pressure is in place, so it's limiting the amount of rain that this moisture is able to produce. That's going to change as this low-level, low-pressure system is actually going to move through the area and trigger some of those showers, give us the chance for the showers through the mid part of the week. If we take a look at the Gulf of Mexico now, as many of you all know, we've been seeing the tropical season has been very active, and Tropical Storm Stan is actually what we're dealing with at the moment. Tropical Storm Stan actually hit the Yucatan Peninsula and gave us a chance for showers there. And as it moves into the Gulf, it does look like it's going to intensify, and that is going to be definitely a problem as we're running out of names on our hurricane list. We've actually seen 20 depressions this year, and several of those have become named, of course, Katrina and Rita being some of those. If we look at the Carolina Week 4-day forecast, we've actually seen temperatures starting out Tuesday, they've been very much like they've seen on Monday, temperatures of about 80 degrees, but you see the cooling trend as we move to Wednesday, a chance for showers there, 78 degrees for your high temperature, low overnight 62, and there's a slight chance of showers there. Thursday, we do see the same, although the chance is going to be increasing as we move through the end of the week, 76 for your low, and bottoming out on Friday with a low temperature of 61, but a high of about 70. And it looks like that will move out, that moisture will move out of the area, but for the weekend we're going to be clear. If we can just get some of this cloudiness, and I think we'll all agree, we'll take the cloudiness during the week if we can have a nice weekend.
That's right. Well, thanks so much, Rob.
Thanks, Rob. Heather Catlin is here now with sports and some highlights from a very impressive football win on Saturday.
It was a great one, it definitely was. But first, the volleyball team hasn't lost to Duke since 1999. We'll let you know if the Heels kept that streak alive right after the break.
Each year, thousands are senselessly killed by people with no criminal record at all. People like you.
I am a Tar Heel born. I'm a Tar Heel bred. And when I die, I'm a Tar Heel dead. No one knows the real Carolina like a student. Carolina Week, the Student News Show.
Welcome to Carolina Week Sports. I'm Heather Catlin. Another week, another win, another celebration. It's good to be a Tar Heel. The football team remembers the long plane ride home after an embarrassing defeat at Utah last year and wanted the Utes to feel the same pain. Reporter Brian Allen takes us inside Carolina's breakout win against Utah on Saturday.
The crowd had barely sat down before true freshman Brandon Tate pushed them right to the edge of their seats with a 96-yard kickoff return for a touchdown. Quarterback Matt Baker turned in another solid performance with 267 yards and 2 touchdown passes, including this 43-yard strike to Jesse Holley. But the biggest reason for Carolina's 31-17 victory over Utah was the defense, which forced 5 turnovers.
We knew before this game that they were going to play well, and they exceeded expectations. If we can't win a game when our defense forces 5 turnovers, we got a big problem.
I was out recruiting last evening, and when I got in, Marvin Sanders was ending the defensive meeting at about 10:05, and all I saw up there was 669.
669 refers to the amount of yards that Utah torched the Tar Heel defense for last year in Provo. This year, that number was 378.
It was reiterated this morning, 669, and it was indented in the back of our mind.
Players feel like this newfound confidence in their defense is spreading rapidly.
Every day is contagious. Like, if they make plays, you got to make plays. Tommy Davis had a big game last week, and today, as you can see, it's contagious. When you're on the defense, you got to make plays like that, and offense as well. And seniors tell us that nobody's better than us, and we finally realized that. If we could go out there and do everything the coaches tell us to do, we'd be a successful team. They got a little swagger to them now that they didn't have before. That's great to see.
With the offense putting up 62 points in the last 2 games, and the defense becoming more dependable and less of a liability, the Skies seem Carolina blue over Kenan Stadium once again.
There's some plays and some throws that I wish I could have back in the first couple games, but that's behind us now. Now we're 2-2, we're back to even, and we got things rolling around here.
I'm going to go home and enjoy myself for a few hours because it'll be over by midnight. We're going to go right back to work on the next opponent. And that's the unfortunate part about it. You work all week long. They do, coaches do, and you get to enjoy it for a few minutes. And I'm going to thoroughly enjoy it.
From Chapel Hill, I'm Brian Allen, Carolina Week Sports.
Carolina's offense might have scored 62 points in the past 2 games, but the defense will play a tough Louisville team that scored 61 points this past week. Check us out on Wednesday for an in-depth preview in the game against the Cardinals on Saturday. In volleyball, the Lady Heels played an emotional game against the Blue Devils Thursday night in Cameron Stadium. Duke came out strong in the first game, forcing the Lady Heels to play from behind right from the start. After some refocusing, the Heels fought back in the 4th game to force Game 5. Duke won 6 of the first 9 points, forcing Carolina to play from behind again. Despite the best efforts of Danny Nineheis, who had a career high of 29 kills and a school record of 103 attempts, it just wasn't enough to ward off the loss. What's the best way to respond to an emotional loss to an arch-rival? Come back and take a victory from another arch-rival. Danny Nineheis had a career high of 26 digs and recorded her 1,000th career kill, which Amy Beaver added 17 kills of her own to lead the Heels past Wake Forest in a thrilling 5-game victory. Emotion ran high Friday night when over 4,000 fans cheered on the women's soccer team. After 26 days since their most recent home match, the Heels returned home to Fetzer Field to take on the Clemson Tigers. During the first half, Carolina and Clemson both allowed 1 goal. In the second half, senior Lori Chalupny scored off a pass from Kendall Fletcher. Carolina kept the fans dancing throughout the second half with 3 back-to-back goals in the course of 11 minutes. Senior Casey White says Carolina's 5-1 win is the result of offense in the second half.
I thought it started off, a bit slow. We were being a bit predictable in how we were playing, so what we wanted to do in the second half was come out with a variety of attack, and so they wouldn't know which way to have their defense against us. So I thought we did that much better in the second half.
With another victory on Sunday, the Lady Heels moved to an impressive 12-0. Heather O'Reilly scored her 40th career goal to lead Carolina 4-0 victory against Maryland. Carolina has outscored its opponents this year 51-4. The Tar Heels men's soccer team lost in the first time in 9 games on Saturday in the ACC opener against Virginia. After a scoreless first half, the 11th-ranked Cavaliers managed to get 2 goals past senior keeper Ford Williams. Williams' 4 saves didn't match up to UVA goalie Ryan Burke, who leads the ACC with 7 shutouts. Call me crazy, but the men's alumni lacrosse game provided the biggest hit and the best goal of the weekend. The varsity didn't take it easy as Kyle Henderson comes down with it hard. And like all good exhibitions, there was almost no defense as both squads were able to score on each other. Then Ryan Blair comes in with the shot of the night. Take another look behind the back. That's what kids these days call nasty. The varsity players disrespect their elder alumni 14-8. Looking to rebound from last week's last-minute loss to Duke, the field hockey team traveled to Winston-Salem to take on the top-ranked Demon Deacons. Katie Tron recorded 10 saves, but unfortunately let 2 slip by. The offense was held scoreless as the Heels fall 2-0. Carolina now has lost 2 straight ACC games. Well, guys, it was a tough weekend for some of the Heels, but at least the football team won, and you can watch them on TV this Saturday.
Excellent. We're looking forward to that game. Thanks, Heather.
Thank you.
Well, most people are in good spirits when they head to the beach.
But this weekend, things got a little crabby. Coming up, we'll show you how we'll take you to Morehead City for some fishy fun that satisfied a lot of Southern appetites.
$50 invested in a mutual fund 20 years ago returned $452. $50 in the United Negro College Fund returned an award-winning actor. A mind is a terrible thing to waste.
If you have a story idea, contact Carolina Week at 843-8292. You can also visit us online at carolinaweek.org. If you have questions about this program, write Carolina Week at Campus Box 3365, UNCCH, Chapel Hill, North Carolina, 27599.
North Carolina residents usually don't need an excuse to go to the coast, but if they want one, they have it now. Reporter Stephanie Miller says the state's biggest seafood festival is reeling people in at Morehead City.
I'm here at the 19th annual North Carolina Seafood Festival. People have come from all over the state to honor fishermen for their hard work. They are wearing blue ribbons like this one to show their support for the North Carolina fisheries.
Many came for the good food. Almost every other booth dished up some of the best seafood in North Carolina. Bruce Haddock loves all the tasty treats at the festival, but he does have a favorite.
They have gators and they have all kinds of tasty treats, crawdads, but I'm still partial to my shrimp burgers.
Others came for the thrilling rides or to watch the boats glide along the waterfront. But whatever the reason, everyone had a great time. Sunday, the festival began with the blessing of the fleet ceremony. Boaters tossed wreaths into the ocean in memory of those lost to the sea. Visitors could buy an array of nautical items, including paintings, plaques, and jewelry. Many vendors sell their goods to raise money for local causes. Drew Piner was helping raise money for his Future Farmers of America Club.
This is for the West Carter FFA, trying to build up some money for we could build a building and just get some new stuff that we really need.
Some took a break from all the excitement to sit back and enjoy some good old coastal music. Once again, the North Carolina Seafood Festival was a big success. In Morehead City, I'm Stephanie Miller, Carolina Week.
Looks like they had some beautiful weather.
And a lot of good food and a lot of good music.
Oh,
Wish we could have been down there.
Oh, I know.
All right, well, that'll do it for this edition of Carolina Week.
Thanks for watching. Have a great night.